today we're going to go through this garage studio build. First things first, we need to lay out the building. As you can see, that orange line is our perimeter where we need to dig. It's usually a little bit bigger than the building line. Unfortunately, there was a tree right in the middle. So before we bought the excavator, we got an arborist to come in and cut the tree down, remove it, and then we're able to dig out that stump, as you can see there, and remove it. Now we can actually start digging. As you can see, we got everything dug. We needed to throw insulated tarps because it is cold. We are in Canada, so if the ground freezes before we put concrete on, we are in trouble. Another thing we need to show is this is the main house that we're building the garage next to. We need to hook up electrical and gas services to the garage. So at this point, we needed to dig right to the mechanical room, right next to the foundation, drill a hole in the concrete, and dig this big trench all the way to where the garage will be. Next step is basically to start forming your footings. So the footings are what displace the weight of the foundation. As you can see, it snowed and it's winter now officially. So we needed to bring the frost fighter out so that we can keep our concrete warm, as well as the ground underneath the concrete, because if any of that freezes, it's game over for us. As you can see, we got rebar into our forms, 90-degree bends and so forth, ready for concrete. As you can see, we have our trusses being delivered. Unfortunately, he almost got stuck because it was so icy and everything. He threw his chains on, backed in. What a guy. As you can see, we got lots of snow, so this is not the greatest, but that frost fighter is going, keeping everything warm. So our footings are finally set and poured, so now we can start stacking our ICF blocks. They're really great, especially if you're doing them in the winter, because then you only need to really tarp the tops of them. But no, just an excellent product. Stacking them up, we're bracing them so we don't have any blowouts. Just making sure that everything's straight and square and plumb, basically. But no, looking good. Hard work, but it's getting it done. As you can see, it's nice to be able to have that concrete all the way to the top of the roof. So we actually ended up doing some framing before we poured, just to add some extra rigidity and some lateral strength. There's a little drywall that we put the drain to. There's the pump truck getting ready to pour the concrete. As you can see, concrete's poured. Now we put some basically peel and stick for the foundation waterproofing for what we're going to backfill. And then we're also doing backfilling inside and making everything level. We also had to backfill the trench that we did for the services. So we had to put we have to put caution tape to make sure that if someone digs there again, that they know that they're not going to hit something that they shouldn't. As you can see, we got basically it backfilled, not like final backfill, but at least for the grade, topsoil and stuff will come on after. But at least we can work around and everything's backfilled. We got our sill plates on, and we're basically ready for these trusses to get flown. So as you can see, cranes here, cranes lifting each truss one by one. Both the other guys are there on either end, getting ready to nail it in place. And then I ran and tied in the tops. So as you can see, we got the big parts of the trusses up. They're so big they actually have to come in two parts. So we'll put the peaks on after. But as you can see, these loft trusses really cool, because basically you add another 4 instead of just having your roof as a roof. So it's a really, really unique and cost-effective way to put another story on a garage, for sure. As you can see, we have a little plank walking out, but it's nice to be able to walk. So now we're starting to continue that roof framing. We have to put outriggers out, put our fascia on, get our first row of sheeting. So that's really a good step. As you can see, now we have everything waterproof. That's a big step for us. But that roof was a challenge. It was a 10-12 pitch, so very steep. Definitely wanted to just slide right off it. So being tied off with harnesses and everything is of most importance, for sure. Safety first. As you can see, we're inside the loft now. Well, it's all waterproofed. We have some subfloor going on in that loft. Big braces, making sure nothing's going to fall down, because we want to make sure everything stays level and plumb and straight. Yeah, and now we got all our walls framed. We got all our exterior sheeting on and our building wrap. So basically this building is waterproof. So now we are also working on the slab, getting ready for the rebar and the concrete. Unfortunately, we don't have our stairs built until our slab's done, so we're using a ladder, but we got the loft basically all framed, all these gable end walls done, and yeah, just starting to look like a building, which is a nice stage to be at. So after that, you see, gable end walls, 2x6, so we can get our insulation in there, R24. Then we moved to the slab. It was a very difficult slab because it was all sloped down to the center drain, but we got it done, and ended up looking great. Moving on to stairs, now that the slab's poured, all those little triangles we got to cut out with a handsaw so we don't overcut, but stringer's looking fantastic. As you can see, those are the stringers in place with the risers and treads made out of plywood built up on there, and there will be a supporting wall to limit that bounce under that, but yeah, that's moving forward on the stairs is really nice. This is the roof. We're finally getting the shingles on. As you can see, we have to use those little platforms because it's just so steep. You just can't stand on that normally. As you can see, we got another little support wall framed, and that lower flight. And now we're getting insulation and our vapor barrier with acoustical sealant to basically seal everything up, give it the insulation we need so we can actually put some heat in this place, because stopping to working in the cold will be super nice. And that is a big stage, especially when you're building things through winter. As you can see, you got all it insulated and vapor barrier. Looks fantastic. You guys did an excellent job. And those are our little attic hatches. Moving on back on outside, we get our base metal on. That way we can backfill right to that metal. Looks fantastic. Fantastic looking door. The client did the gel stain themselves, and kudos, looks fantastic. Basically, you can see inside we protected the concrete slab. Showing that door again, and just fits with the aesthetics. Super nice. And yeah, look at this, the base metal. It goes all the way around, and our siding butts to it, and then the fill butts to that. So again, just a really nice clean detail. I really like doing that with all the transition from grade to building. As you can see, we did all the black soffit. There will be black fascia on as well, but you gotta get the soffit on first. We did actually a really nice detail because they wanted LP Smart Trim for the fascia, so we did a nice detail with the drip edge for the roof. We held that out so everything's properly lapped, and it turned out really nice. So now the guys, they got all their flashings and trims on, they can finally start working on the siding. So as you can see, they work up course by course by course, keeping it level, and yeah, ends up finishing it off, and it just looks fantastic. That green and black combo, I don't know, I really like it. I think the clients chose fantastic with their color scheme. It matches their house exactly. So they had this color scheme before, so we can't take credit for it, but it definitely looks fantastic in my opinion. Yeah, so now we can move on. Now that everything's passed for our vapor barrier inspection, we can start drywalling. So we started getting all the drywall on, closing everything up, and making it look like a house again, which is again another big step to get to. So you can see, you got a little window. We just pre-fill all the holes before we start taping. And yeah, as you can see, a lot of mudding and taping, obviously, but yeah, we got it all done. Looks fantastic. Level 5. Take your spotlight to it, and we feel confident that you're not gonna see our bumps, that's for sure, or our butt joints. But yeah, it looks fantastic. Ready for the painter to come in and put his primer on. As you can see, we have a little stub out there for the gas heater. A little doggy wash station is going to go under there. Client just really decked this garage out. It's fantastic. And then going up to the loft, this is the wife's little studio space. As you can see, stairwells are a little not so fun, but we always get them done. A little access for both sides of the attic, and then yeah, get all the mudding done up in the loft. And yeah, now we're ready for the painter. We needed to put some fans up so that the mud dried. You can see we got some little access hatches on there now. Everything's primed. We got some lights in, electrician finished up and ready to turn the corner. And ooh, LED lights on the ceiling. We got our garage door in, we got our heater in. It's really looking clean, really clean look. There's a couple final finishes we have to finish up, but ultimately it's coming really close to the end of the project. As you can see, nice and clean. We'll take that flooring off before we give it to the client, but really happy. The client ended up doing their own flooring upstairs to save themselves a little money, but they did a great job. Ended up coming out really nicely, and yeah, just looks like a place I could live, honestly. yeah, and then the lower garage, as you can see, took the protectant off, cleaned it all up for them, and it's ready for the clients.